Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's StepsBasic and welcome back to the Comfy Cozy Community Show. Hello, how have y'all been? So, it's been a thing. I forgot my phone in the other room. I'll be right back. Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. I realized last time when I was recording in this shirt, when I sit like this, it makes me look like I got like massive underboob. It's weird. Because it's a really tight shirt. It's comfortable. I like it, but it's a really tight shirt. We are looking at the replies or comments from last week. So far, we don't actually have a whole lot of them, but it's fine. Let's see. Starting from the top, we have my friend Bubble Ninja commenting soldier, because apparently I missed that typo in one of the things on one of the files in Veronica. Apparently they misspelled soldier. They spelled it solider. So close to 1K. Speaking of which, have you subscribed yet? I'm almost to 1,000 people following me, following this goofy looking face right here. Hey, you know you want to be one of them. Click that subscribe button. Do what's right for yourself. And somebody else comments that they feel bad that I don't have that many likes. And I think I have left probably my best opinion on this. It's like, it's no worries. People like what they like, and I appreciate the thought that when people are worried about that. But one thing I like, especially with me, I don't like videos very often. Like, by that I mean I don't click the like button. I don't like them. And it's not that I don't like them, it's just that I don't go through the effort to click them. Unless I'm incredibly impressed. And I know I should be a little bit less frugal with my likes, because at the very least it tells the algorithm what I'm into, and that way I'd stop getting, stupid things I'm not into. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I have to understand that I'm not really here for the likes so much. I'm just here to entertain. And if you're entertained, that's the bonus. Of course, likes do serve their purpose, whereas they tell me what you like too. So if you like a video of mine, I can be like, awesome, nice, there you go. Unfortunately, that is all of the comments I had from last week. It was a very uninvolved week, as it were. I did, however, have an addendum. Are you serious? You shut up, you evil phone, you. I'm done with you. Big on. I'm going to regret doing that because I'm going to have to go for it again. Anyway, I do have an addendum to last week's episode where I was like, where I was talking about, was that last week? Yeah, that was last week. Where I was talking about how we need to stop focusing so much on the flawed philosophy of I don't care what other people think. I did have to add this addendum to it. That understanding whose criticism is valid is also very important. Even in actual criticism, the person giving it may not matter as much to you in the long run, and therefore their criticism will be moot, i.e., a person commenting on one of my videos saying that, like, I don't pronounce words efficiently or effectively, is valid criticism. However, if that person is not going to be involved in the making of the channel, or does not understand the fact that I do in fact have a stutter, they might then that criticism, while a valid bit of criticism, is not helpful and will not affect me in any way. You know what I mean? But there you go. There you have it. Today I wanted to talk about expectations. Yes, I expect so much from you. Why haven't you done the things I expect from you? No, it's kind of funny because I was thinking about this because I recently read Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I'm joining the ranks of people whose mind was completely blown by the fact that this was not the same story. Now, there were certain beats within the story that were the same, but when I got into it expecting what I was going to get, and then completely getting blindsided and having something completely out of left field, being like, what the heck? This story is not the same story as I was used to. I'm going to do a full video breaking down that because it's an interesting topic and I want to do that. But I wanted to talk about how expectations work. And well, not how they work, obviously. We know how expectations work. You look at something, you expect something to do something, and they're either met or they don't. Not really a thing. But I wanted to talk about how expectations are, like going into Mary Shelley's Frankenstein expecting the Frankenstein movie and getting the book, which is incredibly different, was a pleasant surprise. I'll give it that. I went into it expecting to be reading the stuff because I also just recently read Dracula, which was literally like not beat for beat, but was very similar to the Keanu Reeves movie from the 90s. And I read it and I'm like, oh wow, this is actually pretty good, pretty parallel to that movie. Few glaringly obvious differences, obviously, but apart from that, I went into it expecting that movie, and I got basically that movie, except expanded, which is kind of what I expect from a book to movie adaptation. If I read the book, I expect it to be the same story but broader. And then when I went in to read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, expecting to read the movie but broader, I got so much more. Which is a good thing, and getting more than you expect is I will say mostly a positive thing. Obviously, if you're expecting to get just a little bit of rain and all of a sudden you have a torrential downpour, then that's it's getting more than you expected, but it's not a good thing. And there's nothing wrong with having expectations for things, having expectations for movies, having expectations for games, and then going into them and well, obviously having them exceeded is not a bad thing. Having your expectations quantified and whatnot. And oh my God, there's another reason why I wanted to do this video. Baldur's Gate 3 came out and everybody is loving it. And I went back and I played Baldur's Gate 1 after, oh gosh, how many years has it been since I originally played that game? I barely even remembered it going into it. And it's like, wow. If you want to play Baldur's Gate 1, I'm going to do a video on it because I think a quick look on it will be fun. But, oh my God. Not only was it completely like, oh my God, it was a pain in the butt. I have to play it on easy right now as I'm getting used to it because I used to play the system that it's based on. I used to play AD&D, and I don't do that anymore. I switched to 3.5 because it was a far better system. AD&D was essentially a second edition of the original Dungeons and Dragons, and yeah. And 3.5 became my favorite for the longest time. I've kind of warmed up to 5, but it's still not my favorite. It's pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. I like 5, but it's a little handholdy, and I don't like that. But anyway, not important. But going into Baldur's Gate 1, remembering how I'd played it and how I'd beaten it a long, long time ago, but remembering basically nothing else. But going into it kind of expecting somewhat of a similar experience to Baldur's Gate 3, I was like, oh my God, this is so different. And not in a good way, I have to say. Because this one, much like other old games that we muscled our way through, went and fell very short of my expectations and very short of what I wanted. Admittedly, though, I'm still having fun. It's just a little bit more frustrating, a little bit more, well, let's just say I save a lot before I move on to things, because one little thing and I'm dead. I get turned to stone all of a sudden. Oh, game over. I didn't even get to the monster to fight him. There's nothing I can do about this. They don't want me to roll. They don't tell me to roll. They just roll behind the scenes and I don't even see what's going on. But yeah. So that's a good example of where my expectations were not met. And now we come to this idea of where even if your expectations are not met, does it still qualify it as bad? Now, of course, as with everything, there's nuance to this question. You can't just say, my expectations were met, therefore it is bad. My expectations were not met in Baldur's Gate 1. But it's still not bad. It's just frustrating, a little difficult, but I'm still having fun with it. Therefore, it's not a bad experience. And a lot of people automatically assume that just because their expectations were not met, then said bit of media must be bad. And of course, we see this a lot with movies and television stuff. Oh, you didn't make this Marvel character exactly how I wanted. Look at that. I'm sweaty. I'm not sweaty, actually. I just took a shower, so I'm still a little wet. But still. But you didn't make this Marvel character exactly how I remembered them from the comics. Therefore, your comic movie sucks and you're stupid and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But we've all seen that sort of argument online. Now, granted, not everyone who dislikes it also has that argument, so you have to be careful. Don't just jump to conclusions. And get all the exercise out by just jumping to conclusions and whatnot. But anyway, I'm sidetracking. I didn't write a script for this because, honestly, to be fair, I wasn't really expecting to know what wasn't really expecting. What? I didn't know where I was going with this. Oh my God. How do you guys like me? Huh? Why did I get 960 subscribers when I can't even string two thoughts together? Oh, where was I? But yes, so your expectations not being met does not immediately disqualify something as good. And in some cases, it may just be a matter of lateral thinking. Now, with me, lateral thinking is literally my bread and butter. I think to the left and to the right all the time. You've got to dodge this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, God, you almost got me there. Oh, sucks to be you. Wow. But yeah, lateral thinking is very important. Because otherwise, you're just going to end up going through life pretty miserable. Because if things fail to meet your expectations, which in my life have been kind of constant, then automatically everything's going to be bad. And you're automatically going to see everything negatively. And you don't want to live that way, because that way sucks. But for me, lateral thinking. A good example would be the She-Hulk show. A lot of people didn't like it. At first, I didn't like it. And honestly, there's still parts of it that I grievously hate. But while I'm watching this show, and it's not meeting any of my expectations, I laterally think, change my thought process, my approach to the show, and realize that I'm watching the show wrong. And so now I'm watching it in a different way, and for the most part, I still kind of enjoyed it. Admittedly, there are still parts of it which I loathe. And upon further viewings, I still have that one question that I asked a while back, is like, if you didn't want to make this superhero show a superhero show, then why did you pick a superhero to base your show around? Still doesn't make any sense to me. But, as I've been told, people like to do things like that. Instead of making good content or good movies or good shows, they're just making things that will, piss people off. And honestly, that is the worst way to approach things. You should approach things in a genuine, honest fashion. Make things that you think people are going to like. And for the most part, that's what I do. I fail a lot, but that's what I do. But anyway, those are my expectations for this. And I think that's all I can really cover on this, because I didn't write myself a script for this one. I'm doing better about writing scripts. I'm doing better. I'm getting better at it. I'm keeping up with it. I'm trying to be better. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Announcements for this week. So, we started Resident Evil 4 over the weekend. I recorded 5 episodes of it. I thought I recorded 6, but then I looked and I'm like, oh no, it's only 5. Additionally, I went through and I played the entirety of Far Changing Tides. Fantastic game. I loved it. I got freaking 5 hours of it. I literally recorded the entire time. Well, no, I stopped and started a couple times because I didn't want the file size to be massively, ridiculously huge. You know what I mean? So, I do have like 5 hours of that to edit down. And I'm going to turn that into several separate episodes. Why do I pick words like that? I know I have a stutter. Why do I do this? So, I have several separate episodes that I need to edit that out into, but for now, that's where we are with that, my announcements. School goes back into session next week for the kiddo, which means that I will be back onto my regular schedule style, i.e., Monday through Saturday and whatnot. But I do have 2 series highlight videos that I need to edit and put up. I was working on one today, so I think I'm going to be postponing Resident Evil 4 until tomorrow, which will also give me content for Monday, as it were. So I'm going to put up Resident Evil Code Veronica's highlight series or series highlights today, and tomorrow I'll put up the Little Nightmares series highlights, and then I'll start with 4 episodes of Resident Evil 4, and then after that will be 3 episodes of the what's the other game I played? I just said Far Changing Tides. Nailed it. But that's the announcements for today. That's the topic for today. That is it for today. And I want to say thank you all so much for joining me for this episode of The Community Show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, just go poke that like button for me. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section down below. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. When I can, if I can. You know all that jazz. And tune in next time for another topic, another time. And until then, good night.